NEBOSH IGC Element 2 Health and Safety Management Systems Plan. Welcome to Phani EHS Info. In this video, we'll focus on Element 2 Health and Safety Management Systems Plan. You'll gain a clear understanding of explore the essential planning aspects of health and safety management systems. Proper planning is crucial for creating a safe and healthy work environment. Element 2 focuses on three main areas: policy, organizing, and risk assessment. We'll provide an overview of this element and highlight key exam questions to help you prepare effectively for NEBOSH IGC Paper 1. Policy. First, let's discuss policy. Developing and implementing a clear health and safety policy is fundamental. This policy should outline your organization's commitment to health and safety and set clear objectives. It's vital that these health and safety goals are integrated with your business objectives to ensure that safety is aligned with your overall business strategy. Organizing. Next, we have organizing. This involves the allocation of roles and responsibilities to ensure that everyone knows their duties when it comes to health and safety. Competence is key, so providing adequate training and maintaining clear communication channels are essential. By doing so, you ensure that all personnel are well informed and capable of carrying out their health and safety responsibilities effectively. Risk assessment. Finally, let's cover risk assessment. Identifying workplace hazards is the first step in managing risk. Once hazards are identified, evaluating the associated risks and implementing appropriate control measures is crucial. This process helps in minimizing potential dangers and ensuring a safer work environment. Next, we'll review important questions from this element that you need to know for NEBOSH IGC Paper 1. Outline the health and safety roles and responsibilities of supervisors. Control work, set a good example and manage risk assessments. Develop systems, ensure safe systems of work are followed. Inspect areas, identify and address unsafe conditions. Train and mentor, provide training and support to team members. Outline the health and safety roles and responsibilities of workers. Take care, ensure safety for themselves and colleagues. Follow procedures, adhere to safe systems of work. Report issues, inform supervisors of unsafe conditions and accidents. Outline the reasons why the health and safety policy should be signed by the most senior person in an organization. The signature from the senior person demonstrates management commitment, provides authority, and indicates ultimate responsibility for health and safety. Explain why a health and safety policy should be signed by the most senior person in an organization, such as a managing director or chief executive, and include the signing date. Signing and dating the policy shows management commitment, establishes authority, and indicates responsibility. It also sets a review frequency. Outline the purpose of the three main sections of an organization's health and safety policy. Statement of intent demonstrates commitment and sets goals. Organization allocates responsibilities and ensures effective reporting. Arrangements details procedures for implementing the policy. Outline why it is important that all persons in an organization are aware of their roles and responsibilities for health and safety. Define responsibilities, clarifies individual duties, and contributes to safety culture. Set up reporting lines, establishes clear lines of communication. Improve motivation, shows health and safety is a core function. Outline the health and safety roles and responsibilities of persons with primary health and safety functions, example, Health and Safety Officer. Provide advice, offer expert health and safety guidance. Assist policy development, help create and review policies. Intervene, address unsafe conditions. Keep records, maintain health and safety records. Liaise, coordinate with external agencies. Outline how externally led health and safety audits may be used to improve health and safety performance within an organization. Objective assessment provides a neutral evaluation. Identify strengths and weaknesses, highlights areas for improvement. Set and review targets, helps ensure continuous improvement. Outline how the analysis of accident statistics may be used to improve health and safety performance within an organization. Identify trends, allocate resources and address problem areas. Compare with other organizations, benchmark performance. Focus discussions, use data to stimulate safety discussions. Show costs, justify investments in safety measures. Outline how the findings of accident investigations may be used to improve health and safety performance within an organization. Identify causes, understand root causes and prevent recurrence. Implement changes, introduce new controls and procedures. Review effectiveness, assess if changes have been successful. Outline how the review of a company's health and safety policy may be used to improve health and safety performance within an organization. Ensure relevance, keep up with legal and organizational changes. Reflect changes, address new risks and improvements. Increase awareness, reaffirm commitment and goals. Drive improvements, use policy review to identify and implement enhancements. Outline 8 health and safety issues on which employers should consult their workers. There are a range of issues that employers should consult their workers. These include, but are not limited to, the provision and use of PPE, safe systems of work, health and safety risk assessments, training issues, the introduction of processes, etc. that may affect workers' health and/or safety, changes of materials being used, organizational structure changes, emergency arrangements and procedures, welfare issues, incentive schemes. Outline the health and safety roles and responsibilities of directors and senior managers. The main health and safety responsibilities of directors and senior managers are to prepare and sign a health and safety policy, set goals and objectives for the organization, lead by example and demonstrate commitment, allocate responsibilities for health and safety throughout the organization and set aside sufficient resources such as for example for training those who have been allocated special roles. Secure competent health and safety advice such as by appointing a health and safety advisor and receive monitoring reports and instigate action to rectify any deficiencies that have been found. Give reasons why a verbal instruction may not be clearly understood by a site operative. Reasons should include noise and distractions may mean that persons are unable to clearly hear what is being said. Use of technical jargon may mean that people misunderstand the information being communicated. Complexity of information sometimes meets with the information receivers turning their minds off and not listening as they do not understand what is trying to be communicated. Communication is ambiguous. Language dialect barriers is a big problem in some regions, both from the communicator or the receiver. Sometimes the same words have different meanings or implications. lack of attention by persons clearly not interested in the topic. Inexperience of persons not used to having to receive information at work, i.e. young workers. Explain how arrangements for consultation with workers may be made more effective. Arrangements for consultation with workers might be made more effective by the establishment of safety committees, consultation with elected representatives of employee safety, planned direct consultation at departmental meetings, team meetings, toolbox talks and staff appraisals, consultation as part of an accident or incident investigation or as part of a risk assessment, day-to-day informal consultation by supervisors with their team, questionnaires and suggestion schemes. If formal meetings are to be held, it is important to ensure that there is a correct balance between management and worker representation. Outline the circumstances that may give rise to a need for a health and safety policy to be revised. A health and safety policy is not a static document and should be reviewed at regular intervals. Those intervals can be determined by certain factors and they include passage of time, at least annually. Is there have not been organizational changes, technological changes, research development, and advancements have led to a better understanding of work practices and as a consequence has indicated a need for change in working practices. Introduction of new technology. When new technology has been introduced into the workplace that may pose further hazards. Organizational changes where there has been a shift in accountabilities and or responsibilities. Legal changes that may impose fresh requirements on an organization within the work processes that it undertakes. Accident patterns. If a pattern of accidents in a certain area have been highlighted, a single significant accidents tend to indicate a management system failure. Outline the key elements of a health and safety management system. Policy, which should be a clear statement of intent, setting out the main health and safety aims and objectives of the company and the commitment of management. Then, organizing for health and safety, which should ensure the allocation of responsibility to members of the workforce with the emphasis on achieving competency and control, together with effective systems for communication and consultation with the workforce. Then, planning and implementing, that should involve the setting of standards and targets, the completion of hazard identification and risk assessments and the introduction of appropriate control measures. Then, measuring and evaluating performance would need to be put in place using proactive and reactive monitoring systems to provide data on the achievement or non-achievement of the objectives and targets set. Finally, audit should be carried out to check whether what was planned was actually taking place and review to consider options for improvement and to set new targets where necessary. What is a Health and Safety Management System, HSMS? A Health and Safety Management System, HSMS, is a structured approach to managing health and safety within an organization. It aims to minimize risks and ensure compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Key components of an HSMS include policy, a statement outlining the organization's commitment to health and safety. Planning, procedures for identifying hazards, assessing risks, and implementing control measures. Implementation, the processes and resources necessary to execute the health and safety plan. Monitoring and review, regular checks to ensure the system is effective and to identify areas for improvement. Describe the Plan Do Check Act, PDCA, cycle. The Plan Do Check Act, PDCA, cycle is a four-step model used to achieve continuous improvement in health and safety management. Plan, develop a health and safety plan by identifying hazards, assessing risks, and setting objectives and procedures. Do, implement the health and safety plan, including training, communication, and operational controls. Check, monitor, and measure the effectiveness of the plan through audits, inspections, and performance reviews. Act, take corrective actions based on the monitoring results to improve the system and address any issues identified. Outline the steps involved in conducting a risk assessment. The steps involved in conducting a risk assessment are: identify hazards, determine what could cause harm in the workplace. Assess risks, evaluate the likelihood and severity of harm from each hazard. Determine control measures, identify and implement measures to eliminate or reduce the risks. Record findings, document the hazards, risk assessments, and control measures. Implement controls, put the control measures into practice. Monitor and review, regularly check the effectiveness of the controls and update the risk assessment as necessary. Describe the roles and responsibilities of management in ensuring the effective implementation of a health and safety management system. Leadership, set direction and tone. Policy development, create and endorse policies. Resource allocation, provide necessary resources. Compliance, ensure adherence to legislation. Review, monitor and review performance regularly. Outline the key elements of a health and safety policy. Key elements of a health and safety policy include: statement of intent, a commitment from top management to health and safety, including the goals and objectives of the policy. Responsibilities, clear definition of roles and responsibilities for health and safety at all levels of the organization. Arrangements, detailed procedures and practices for managing health and safety risks, including risk assessments, control measures, and emergency procedures. Review, a process for regularly reviewing and updating the policy to ensure its continued relevance and effectiveness. Explain the importance of safety audits and inspections in a health and safety management system. Safety audits and inspections are crucial for identifying non-compliance, detecting areas where health and safety practices do not meet legal or organizational standards, improving safety, highlighting areas for improvement, and ensuring that control measures are effective, preventing incidents, identifying potential hazards before they lead to accidents or incidents, maintaining standards, ensuring ongoing compliance with health and safety policies and procedures. Describe how training and communication contribute to the effectiveness of a health and safety management system. Training and communication contribute by increasing awareness, educating employees about health and safety risks and procedures, enhancing skills, providing the necessary skills to implement safety measures effectively, improving compliance, ensuring that employees understand and follow health and safety policies and procedures, encouraging feedback, facilitating open communication channels for employees to report concerns and suggest improvements. What are the key responsibilities of senior management in a health and safety management system? Senior management is responsible for leadership, demonstrating commitment to health and safety and setting a positive example. Policy development, formulating and endorsing the health and safety policy and ensuring it aligns with organizational objectives. Resource allocation, providing the necessary resources and support for effective implementation of the HSMS. Compliance, ensuring the organization meets legal and regulatory requirements. Review, regularly reviewing health and safety performance and making improvements as needed. What are the key elements of incident investigation and reporting? Key elements of incident investigation and reporting include incident identification, recognizing and recording the details of the incident. Data collection, gathering evidence, including witness statements and physical evidence. Analysis, determining the root causes of the incident and contributing factors. Reporting, documenting the findings and recommendations in an incident report. Action, implementing corrective and preventive actions to address the root causes and prevent recurrence. Follow-up, reviewing the effectiveness of the actions taken and making further improvements if necessary. Discuss the role of performance monitoring and review in a health and safety management system. Performance monitoring and review are important for measuring effectiveness, assessing whether health and safety measures are working as intended, identifying areas for improvement, highlighting areas where the HSMS can be improved, ensuring compliance, checking adherence to health and safety policies and legal requirements, supporting continuous improvement, using performance data to make informed decisions and enhance the HSMS. Explain how arrangements for consultation with workers may be made more effective. Establish safety committees, facilitate structured discussions. Consult directly, use meetings, toolbox talks, and suggestion schemes. Ensure balance, maintain a balance between management and worker representation. Manage meetings, set agendas, manage discussions, and report back effectively. Outline the process for investigating and reporting incidents in a health and safety management system. Identification, recognize and record the incident. Data collection, gather evidence and witness statements. Analysis, determine root causes. Reporting, document findings. Action, implement corrective actions and follow-up. Outline the factors that may indicate that health and safety standards within an organization do not reflect the objectives within the statement of intent. Accident rates, increased or unmet targets. Enforcement actions, non-compliance with standards. Non-conformances raised during audits. Employee complaints, increased concerns about conditions. Risk assessment reviews, outdated or inadequate. Training issues, inadequate or infrequent. Outline the health and safety roles and responsibilities of directors and senior managers. Prepare and sign policy, establish and endorse health and safety policies. Set goals, define objectives for health and safety. Lead by example, demonstrate commitment. Allocate responsibilities, assign health and safety duties. Secure advice, appoint health and safety advisors. Review performance, address deficiencies identified in reports. Outline 8 health and safety issues on which employers should consult their workers. PP provision and use. Safe systems of work. Risk assessments. Training issues. Changes in processes or materials. Organizational structure changes. Emergency arrangements. Welfare issues and incentive schemes. Explain why a verbal instruction may not be clearly understood by a site operative. Noise and distractions affect hearing clarity. Technical jargon may be misunderstood. Complex information can be overwhelming. Language barriers, misinterpretation due to dialect. Sensory impairment, hearing issues or speech difficulties. Lack of attention, disinterest or inexperience. Describe how a company's health and safety policy may be reviewed to ensure it remains relevant and effective. Review frequency, regularly scheduled reviews. Consult stakeholders, engage employees and experts for feedback. Update procedures, reflect new regulations, practices, and hazards. Communicate changes, inform all employees of policy updates. How should an organization ensure compliance with health and safety legislation? An organization can ensure compliance by understanding legislation, keeping up to date with relevant health and safety laws and regulations, implementing procedures, developing and enforcing procedures to meet legal requirements, conducting regular reviews, regularly reviewing and updating policies and practices to reflect changes in legislation, training staff, ensuring employees are aware of and adhere to legal requirements, consulting experts, seeking advice from health and safety professionals to ensure compliance. Outline the purpose of the three main sections of an organization's health and safety policy. This question is intended to test candidates' understanding of health and safety policies and their structure. Initial referral to the statement of intent, which both demonstrates management's commitment to health and safety and sets goals and objectives for the organization. Moving on to the organization section, the purpose of which is to allocate health and safety responsibilities within the company and to ensure effective delegating and reporting, and finally, the arrangements section, which sets out in detail the systems and procedures that show how the policy is to be implemented. Those who do not do so well outline the contents of the sections rather than their purpose. Explain why a health and safety policy should be signed by the most senior person in an organization, such as a managing director or chief executive, and include the signing date. The statement should be signed and dated by the most senior person in the organization. This will demonstrate management commitment to health and safety and give authority to the policy. It will indicate where ultimate responsibility lies and the frequency with which the policy statement is reviewed. The signature of the most senior person in the organization would demonstrate management commitment, and this would give authority to the policy or that the person concerned ultimately had responsibility for health and safety in the organization. Outline the various methods for communicating the contents of a health and safety policy to a workforce. The policy statement of intent should be posted on prominent notice boards throughout the workplace and brought to the attention of all employees at induction and refresher training sessions. It can also be communicated to the workforce during team briefing sessions, at toolbox talks which are conducted at the workplace or directly by email, intranet, newsletters or booklets. It should be a permanent item on the agenda for health and safety committee meetings where it should be reviewed at each meeting. Explain why it is important for an organization to set targets in terms of its health and safety performance. Health and safety performance targets are an important part of the statement of intent because they indicate that there is management commitment to improve health and safety performance. They motivate the workforce with tangible goals resulting, perhaps, in individual or collective rewards. They offer evidence during the monitoring, review and audit phases of the management system. Outline 6 types of target that an organization might typically set in relation to health and safety. The following list, which is not exhaustive, shows common health and safety performance targets. A specific reduction in the number of accidents, incidents, and cases of work-related ill health, perhaps to 0. A reduction in the level of sickness absence. A specific increase in the number of employees trained in health and safety. An increase in the reporting of minor accidents and near-miss incidents. A reduction in the number of civil claims. No enforcement notices from the local authority. A specific improvement in health and safety audit scores.